Hi guys, we'll be starting with lesson 2, corporate disputes. In this chapter, we'll be learning something about operation and mismanagement. Now, operation and mismanagement is firstly covered under your in Companies Act chapter 16 from section 241 to 246. Now, these are your sections, each one will be going individually and it is read with rule 81 to 87 of the NCLT rules 2016. Now, what do you mean by operation? Operation is nowhere defined in the Companies Act. So it is left to the courts to interpret what is operation from each case to other. From the facts of each case, they will have to decide what is operation. Now, in the case of Shanti Prasad Jain versus Kalinga Tubes, it was held that since the apex court, that is Supreme Court, held that since operation mismanagement has not been defined, then it is left to the courts to determine whether a particular act is oppressive from each case, from one case to another. It will have to independently decide. Now, firstly, operation in a normal understanding means departure from fair dealing or acting in a manner which is detrimental to an individual, to the company, or to the public interest at large. Now, is in order for operation and mismanagement and applying to NCLT, let's say if so I had appeared in a matter for operation mismanagement. So what happened is there was a director, he was removed by the other directors in a manner which notice was not given and in a very abrupt manner. Now this person was the shareholder as well, and he was also the director of the company, and he had around 25% stake in the company. So he applied in NCLT that the majority of the people are acting in an oppressive manner, are trying to oust me from the company that I had built. He was the founder member. Okay, so firstly, section 241 to 246, chapter 16 deals with prevention of operation and mismanagement. And the most classic example of operation mismanagement in one of the corporate histories today is your Tata versus Cyrus Mistry. This entire case has gone in your section 241 to 246. It's been taken up under this operation and mismanagement. So we will be studying the Tatas and the Cyrus Mistry case as well in this chapter. So let's start. Firstly, courts have laid down that operation should be in a continuous act on a continual basis and just not once. So if an act is detrimental to you and let's say it is being just done once, okay, it's not repetitive in nature, it is very unlikely that NCLT will take up your matter. For something to be oppressive, it shows there has to be a continued oppression on the person. So let's see, the courts have held that there must be a continuous act on the part of the majority, continuing right up till the date of the petition, showing that the affairs of the company were conducted in a manner oppressive to some part of the members. The conduct must be burdensome, harsh, and wrongful. And a mere lack of confidence cannot be said that it is oppressive. Now, however, a singular act, generally not taken up as oppressive, not considered as oppressive, but in some cases which we will see when even singular acts can be considered to be oppressive. Next, in the case of Rajamundry Electric Supply versus Nageshwar Rao, it was held a petition was brought against the company by certain shareholders. Now this is not whichever is an important case, I'll mark it important also. Generally they said that the minority shareholders stated that the chairman grossly mismanaged the affairs of the company where he had overshown the expenses and he used the company's funds for his purpose, personal purpose. It was held that there was sufficient evidence of mismanagement, and the company appointed 2 administrators for management of the company for a period of 6 months, vesting all the powers of the directors in him. So suppose if the directors are acting in a oppressive or a mismanaging the funds, then NCLT can order and appoint certain administrators in the company. So this was this case. Now as I told you, generally single acts are not considered to be oppressive, but in certain cases even a singular act can be considered to be oppressive. In Maharashtra Power Development Corporation versus Dabhol Power Company, it was held that a single act of oppression would not ordinarily give rise to action for filing petition under section 397 of the Companies Act. Now earlier it was 397 to 398 of Companies Act 1956 spoke about oppression and mismanagement. In Companies Act 2013, what are the sections for oppression and mismanagement? Section 241 to section 246. Each section we will be doing individually today. Now, then in Needle Industries India Limited versus Needle Industries New Way Holding Limited, it was said that a isolated act may not necessarily by itself support oppression and malified intents. As we said, singular acts are not generally given effect and not shown malified intents. But if it is shown there is a series of illegal acts continuously done, then you can say कि मेरे ऊपर oppression हो रहा है, मेरे ऊपर continually परेशानी होते जा रही है, then NCLT will give you relief. But a series of illegal acts falling upon one upon the other can be said that it amounts to committing oppression. Next, can non-declaration of dividend be considered to be oppressive? कंपनी ने डिविडेंड नहीं दिया तो क्या इसको तुम ऑपरेशन बोल सकते हो? सो आंसर इज नो. So it was held that non-declaration of dividend cannot be termed as a oppressive conduct. The next, increase of share capital of a company for the sole purpose of gaining control would amount to oppression. इसमें क्या हुआ था कि the majority of the shareholders were trying to dilute the shares of certain people without their consent. From the facts of this case, it was held that it amounted to oppression. So in Supreme Court in Dale Carrington Investment versus PK Pratapan held that increase in a share capital of the company for the sole purpose of gaining control where the majority shareholders were reduced to minority would lead to oppression. Then comes non-availability of records. So a company did not have enough records or did not keep the statutory books properly. So whether that can be considered as a oppression, answer is no. So it would attract penal provisions, but that act itself of not maintaining records or not being able to provide records cannot by itself considered to be an act of oppression. It could bring in the legal consequences of penalty and all those other things, but not oppression. Non-holding of meetings of the board. So again they said would not amount to oppression on the minority shareholders. So again it was held in this case. Then filing of unaudited balance sheet. Now whenever it comes to finance, money related, okay, that time this would amount to oppression. Yes. So filing of unaudited balance sheets shows misconduct in the part of the management of the affairs. If this act prejudices to the company's interest, it may justify section 398 and 397. This was of the old act. Of the new act, it will be section 241 to section 246. That's oppression and mismanagement. Then minor acts would not be considered to be oppression. We are just seeing what is oppression and in which all cases courts have held to be considered as oppressive. Then a member can complain only in a capacity as a member and not as a director or as a creditor. So in oppression mismanagement, if we see, it is held that the members can apply, not anyone else. Legal heads are also entitled to apply. Then in this case, mark karo important, what happened is there was the legal heirs were there. These legal heirs, the main member had died, and then the legal heirs were going to get the shares. So let's say this is the original member and he has 2 children. अब इसने नॉमिनी बनाया था and he died. So automatically ये उसके लीगल हेयर्स है. बट लीगल हेयर्स पहले बताने के लिए हाई कोर्ट के पास से एक तुम्हें सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट लेना पड़ता है. तो सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट वॉज पेंडिंग बिफोर द सिविल कोर्ट. सिविल कोर्ट के पास में मैटर पेंडिंग था ऑफ इशूइंग अ सक्सेशन सर्टिफिकेट. ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम द कंपनी इलीगली अलॉटेड अ लॉट ऑफ शेयर्स टू द पीपल. सो दीज लीगल हेयर्स कंप्लेंट ऑफ ऑपरेशन कि भाई हमारे गैर मौजूदगी में, हमारे इन आर एब्सेंस सर्टेन शेयर्स वर अलॉटेड and our succession certificate was pending, and during that time it was allotted and making us minority shareholders. So this amounted to oppression. The legal heirs alleged that illegal allotment by the shares to themselves, reducing the legal heirs to minority. It was held that the legal heirs are entitled to file a petition for oppression and mismanagement. Next, a petition was founded on that whether a director who is acting unwise, inefficient, careless, can that be considered to be oppression mismanagement? Answer is no. A person would not generally succeed because the shareholders appoint the directors. If the director is acting careless, then it might not itself considered to be as oppressive. It should, however, now tell me one thing. For oppression mismanagement, only the majority can apply or the minority apply for oppression mismanagement? Who apply to the NCLT for oppression mismanagement के भाई हम लोग को परेशानी हो रही है, हमको प्लीज रिलीफ दो? Is it the minority or the majority? So ideally it is the minority who would go. The minority would go to NCLT saying that there is oppression in the company by the majority shareholders. But sometimes they are saying even the majority can go and say that the acts are being oppressive. Now it was held, it was argued कि majority खुद ही अपनी meeting बुला के रख सकते हैं, can put by passing resolutions. Then why should they be entitled? So I'll tell you, see, it should not however be supposed that at these special remedies are available only to minorities. In appropriate cases, this relief has been granted even to the majority. Now let's say if there is a loud minority and a very silent majority. Generally meetings में क्या होता है, जो minority है वो सबसे ज़्यादा परेशान करते हैं. They don't let the meeting to perform. They don't let the meeting to convene. So the majority in a most civil manner can go to NCLT and ask for certain orders. And then they can give this relief. Now they have said that even singular actions, mark karo important, can be considered to be oppressive. So, like I'll give you an example where a singular action can be considered to be oppressive on a continually basis. Singular action, that is a single action, will lead to continual oppression. Imagine allotment or issue of shares wrongly to certain people, certain persons. So this is a singular action, but this might lead to continual oppression. So then courts have taken up such matters. Okay, a single act of issuing additional shares can have a continuous effect, it can constitute oppression. So it was given in this versus Tara Properties. Okay, past actions of oppression will not entitle to the plaintiff. They will have to show that there is a past actions are also being there in the present and it will continue in future. So if I say कि 2000 के अंदर मुझे परेशान किया था, will today NCLT take up the matter? Answer is no. You will have to show that the oppression is continuing right up till the petition date. Okay, now we'll start. Now these were just which all cases courts have picked up for oppression. Now we are seeing this section 241 to section 246. First most important section, application to tribunal for relief of oppression and mismanagement. Okay, this is read with section 244. That is the right to apply. कितने लोगों को apply करना पड़ेगा to initiate a case of oppression mismanagement. So who can make application and when they can make application? Let's see. First, section 241 subsection 1. Any member, so what it is written, any member may apply to tribunal if he complains that the affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner which is prejudicial, harmful to public interest, or to any other member, or to the company. So what is he saying? If the affairs of the company are prejudicial, harmful, detrimental to 1, public interest, or 2, member, or 3, company. So my first question is, who can apply? It is just a member can apply in 241. Can a debenture holder apply under section 241? Answer is no. It's only a member. Now tell me one thing, there is a difference between shareholder and members, right? तो यहाँ पे कभी कभार till the books are, till your name is not mentioned in the register of member, you might be a shareholder. If I have just bought the shares, I might be a shareholder. मैंने अभी just खरीदा but अभी तक मेरा नाम register of member में नहीं गया है. So can I apply? Answer is no. It is only those whose name has been entered in the register of members. So any member may apply to the tribunal that the affairs of the company are being conducted prejudicial to either any one of them, or there has been a material change in the company and this material change is not a change brought about in the interest of either the creditor or the shareholder or any of the persons or the company at large. Then now imagine if a change has been brought in which is in not interest of the creditors. Can the creditors apply under section 241 subsection 1? Answer is no. The members can apply कि यार ये गलत change किया आपने, creditors को होगा. So they can take action for or in interest of the creditors. Creditors itself cannot apply because it is written only members can apply. Okay, it is likely that the affairs of the company will be conducted in a manner prejudicial. So यहाँ पे देखते हैं, any member under section 241 subsection 1 can say that manner it is being conducted or have been or are being conducted in a manner prejudicial to public interest or to the members or to the company, or there has been a material change which is not going to be beneficial for the creditors or the company or the members, तब अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. मेंबर अप्लाई करेगा जब ऐसी सब सिचुएशंस होंगे. सेकंड, इवन द सबसेक्शन 2, ओके, तो वी डिड सेक्शन 241 subsection 1 and now we are doing subsection 2. Subsection 2 क्या बोल रहा है? That even the central government, if they feel under certain circumstances, even they can apply कि यार operation mismanagement हो रहा है company के अंदर. So if the central government is of the opinion that the affairs of the company are being conducted in a manner which is prejudicial, it may itself apply to the tribunal. अब circumstances in which सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को लगेगा अगर कुछ फ्रॉड हो रहा है, मिसफीसेंस, नेग्लिजेंस, डिफॉल्ट, or if the business is not being conducted in a manner of the sound principles, or it is being conducted in a manner which has a serious injury to the trade, business or occupation in which the industry pertains, or if it is to defraud the creditors. So these are the circumstances. If central government feels that all this is happening, it can apply to NCLT to remove the oppression and mismanagement. Now difference between section subclause A, B of 241 and 242.2. तो यहाँ पे देखते हैं 241 A है and there is B. B talks about material change and A talks about applying if there is prejudicial. Prejudicial to whom? To either the company or to the members or to the public interest. And subsection 2 talks about central government applies for operation mismanagement, and the circumstances in which it will apply is given in subsection 3. So these are the circumstances in which CG applies for removal of operation mismanagement. This is the difference. Next comes rights of members to apply. तो यहाँ पे मेंबर बोल रहे अप्लाई कर सकते, तो वी फिनिश सेक्शन 241. नाउ टेल मी, वहां पे लिखा था कि इफ द मेंबर्स अप्लाई, एक मेंबर जा सकता है क्या? एक मेंबर जिसके पास में एक शेयर है वो जाके बोल रहा है ऑपरेशन मिसमैनेजमेंट हो रहा है, कि एक रेक्विजिट नंबर होगा कि मिनिमम नंबर इतने तो होने चाहिए. सो दैट नंबर is given in section 244, the right to apply. So let's see what it is given. So in case of a company having share capital, और एक बता रहे in case of company not having share capital. Tell me, normally companies have share capital or they don't have share capital? So which is more important for us to know? It is a companies having share capital. So what is the minimum number of members to apply to NCLT to remove the operation mismanagement? So if not less than 100 members of the company or not less than 1/10 of the total members, 1/10 of total members, whichever is less, apply to NCLT, and 1/10 of the issued capital, okay, they can apply. In case of a company not having share capital, and they have said that 1/5 of the total number of members, ये simple है, 1/5 of total members. Now ये जो एक क्लासिक केस है टाटा साइरस मिस्त्री वर्सेस टाटा वर्सेस मिस्त्री, इसके अंदर what happened, Cyrus Mistry and the Shapurji Palanji group, they had around 18% stake in the equity shares. Tell me one thing, can they apply in the company or no? Can they apply for operation mismanagement? So ideally ऐसा लगेगा कि यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है, 100 और 1/10 of the total members or any of the members holding not less than 1/10 of the issued capital. तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि 1/10 तो है, 1/10 मीन्स 10% होगा तो कर सकते हैं. बट what happened, he had of equity stake, उसने अप्लाई कर दिया NCLT के अंदर. टाटाज ने क्या ऑब्जेक्शन उठाया कि ये लाइन के ऊपर वो लोग ने क्वेश्चन रेज किया कि इट इज सेड कि it should be 1/10 of the issued capital, share capital. अब शेयर कैपिटल में खाली इक्विटी नहीं आता है, क्या आता है? प्रेफरेंस भी आता है, तो वो शेयर कैपिटल इज इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल, देयर आर टू काइंड्स ऑफ शेयर्स ना, तो जब दोनों का मिलाते ना तो उसका खाली 3% स्टेक आ रहा था. So that was the defense that Tata's has taken, that he doesn't even have that much stake to apply for operation mismanagement, and NCLT said that it was correct. He didn't have stake because issued equity share capital नहीं बोला, equity issued share capital. Okay, तो फिर साइरस मिस्त्री ने ये वाला प्रोविजन इन्वोक किया, अगर किसी के पास में इतना भी स्टेक नहीं होना तो भी अप्लाई कर सकते वो लोग, provided that the tribunal may waive off any of the requirements under A and B to enable the members to apply. तो साइरस मिस्त्री ने क्या बोला, ठीक है नहीं है मेरे पास, बट NCLT आप प्लीज देखो ऑपरेशन हो रहा है मेरे साथ, यूज योर प्रोविजो, गिव अ वेवर ऑफ दैट रिक्वायरमेंट. तो NCLT ने भी मना कर दिया, NCLAT ने भी मना कर दिया टू रिकग्नाइज दिस क्लेम of waiving of the minimum requirement. Then तो अगेन रिपीट कर रहे वो eligibility to apply क्या था. In case of company having share capital, it is either 100 shareholders or 1/10 of the total number of members or 1/10 of the shareholding. Okay, and in case of not having share capital, 1/5 of the total members. So, provided where any of the members are entitled to make an application, any one or more of them can take consent of the rest and then apply. So, I can take consent of the other members in writing and then I can apply on behalf of all of them. So, Cyrus Mistry can take signatures of all of those Shapurji Palanji group who had stake in Tata, just written, not all of them have to come to court. Then, now they are asking you certain questions. You tell me whether it makes sense or not. Whether a shareholder is eligible to make an application under this section. Can a shareholder apply, or क्या लिखा था member? What is the answer given in law? Shareholder cannot apply. It is a member, means a shareholder whose name is kept in the register of members. So members only is eligible to apply. So member who is holding shares and not entered in the register of members is not eligible to make an application under this section. Then person who is hold as a beneficiary in the records of NSDL and CDSL, हम लोग ने देखा था कि जो भी डीमैट शेयर्स में बाय करते हैं, डीमैट शेयर्स, they are called something, they are called as beneficial owners. Can they apply? Simple answer is yes, because if you read the definition of member, okay, definition of member, they can apply, they come as the definition of members, those who hold electronic shares. Are members holding partly paid shares eligible? अब यहाँ पे क्या लिखा था, issued share capital, तो इशू किया है तो अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, तो yes, बट इसका एक कंडीशन है. ओके, जनरल आंसर इज yes. If company has called the money, you've called up and member did not pay, in default, then he cannot apply. So if the company has made few calls and others have not been made, calls have yet not been made, then a partly paid share is eligible. Partly paid shareholder is eligible because अभी तक दूसरे calls किए ही नहीं है. But in a case where the company has made calls for fully paid and the member have not paid, then he shall not be eligible. Can a body corporate apply? So answer is yes. Agar a body corporate, that is a company, could be a shareholder and could be a member of a company also, so they can apply. So member need not necessarily be an individual, even body corporates can apply. तो सोचो टाटास के अंदर there must be Shapurji Palanji group, they must be holding 18% stake, so they is not a individual, it might be a company, so they can apply. Position of preferring shareholders. Can preferring shareholders apply for operation mismanagement? Answer is yes, because it is said that the member or shareholder, So since the preference shareholder is also a member as per the definition of section 2 subsection 55, section 2 subsection 55, so they can also apply. Position of debenture holder. Can debenture holder apply? Answer is no. Only the owners can apply. Definition of member does not include debenture holders. He can't apply to NCLT directly. Okay, debenture holder being a creditor, they have to invoke other remedies available to them. Position of other stakeholders, तो बोल रहे कि अगर members चाहे तो members can take it up for them. Prejudicial to the interest of the company, so maybe it is affecting the creditor, but the creditor cannot approach the tribunal. It is only the member who can approach the tribunal. They've given you a few examples. If a company is having 500 members, 5000 members, then क्या लिखा था? 100 और 1/10 of this. So 1/10 कितना होगा? 500. Whichever is less, so 100 of them can apply. Eligibility criteria is 100. Again, if a company has only 500 members, then 50 or 100, whichever is less. So 50 is the eligibility criteria. Okay, like this they've given. Then they've given the Cyrus Investment Private Limited versus Tata Sons case study. They've given you this entire case study. So matter first went to NCLT, where NCLT did not listen to Cyrus Mistry. They said, कैसे Cyrus Mistry went? Tata said that he doesn't have the requisite number given under section 244. ये 244 में right to apply नहीं है उसके पास, 10% stake नहीं है, because issued share capital देखेंगे तो खाली 3% आता है. Equity capital 18% है, but इक्विटी कैपिटल नहीं लिखा है लॉ में, तो 3% आ जाता है उसका. तो NCLT फेवर्ड टाटाज, वेंट टू एनक्लैड फेवर्ड एंड रीइंस्टेटेड साइरस मिस्त्री ऑन द बोर्ड. बोले कि नहीं साइरस मिस्त्री बराबर है, एंड एनक्लैड फेवर्ड साइरस मिस्त्री. देन द टाटाज वेंट टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट, एंड करेंटली सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज स्टेड द ऑर्डर गिवन बाय एनक्लैड, and now still he is not at the board. So let's see timeline of events. So firstly, in the meeting of Tata Sons held on 24th October 2016, Mr. Cyrus Mistry was replaced from the executive board and Ratan Tata was made as the interim chairperson. 25th October को टाटा फाइल्ड caveats इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट. टाटा ऑलरेडी प्रिडिक्टेड कि ये जाएगा बंदा कोर्ट के अंदर और जाके रिलीफ मांगेगा इनसे कि मेरे को ऐसा कैसे निकाल सकते हो आप. तो टाटा ने caveat फाइल कर दिया. caveat क्या होता है? अगर कुछ भी ये बंदा फाइल करता है, who you are expecting to file a case, so Tata is expecting, anticipating Cyrus Mistry to file case. So पहले ही टाटा सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास में चले गए हैं, अंदर से अगर साइरस मिस्त्री आएगा तो उसको एक्स पार्टे ऑर्डर मत पास कर देना, आप मुझे बताना क्या करने वाला है वो. सो caveat फाइल किया दैट इफ दिस गाय कम्स प्लीज इन्फॉर्म अस, वी विल कम एंड वी विल डिफेंड आवरसेल्व्स, डोंट पास अ एक्स पार्टे ऑर्डर इन हिज फेवर. तो लीगल बैटल in 2016, two of Cyrus Mistry family backed firms, that is Cyrus Mistry and the Shapoorji Pallonji group, okay, SP group, holding 18% of the equity share capital, filed a suit under section 241 and 246 pura for alleging oppression and mismanagement act. They also challenged ki how Cyrus Mistry was removed. Now what did Tata say कि उसमें क्या लिखा है? Issued share capital, and issued share capital includes your equity and preference. तो जब हम लोग according to Tata Sons, though the petitioner hold 18% of the equity share capital, but fell to approximately only 2% of both equity and preference taken together. So then Cyrus Mistry got a shock and then he said that he applied for waiver कि वो requirement है minimum number of people का please waive off कर दो. टाटा contended कि ये waiver वाला clause तो starting में नहीं बोला उसने, तो अभी उसको हम लोग accommodate नहीं करने देंगे at a later stage in this case. Matter went on. Tata's went on to call a EGM, and then again he was removed from the Tata Sons. Tata Sons removed in the EGM. And then with effect in this 2017, they appointed Mr. Chandrasekaran to take as the chairman of this. Okay. So then NCLT dismissed the petition of Cyrus Mistry altogether. So he got a shock here, where it said that they didn't meet the 10% criteria and they dismissed the waiver petition also. So actually back foot पे चले गए Cyrus Mistry because he didn't have the requisite stake. Then Cyrus Mistry went to NCLAT और NCLAT में उसके फेवर में गया जजमेंट और उसको they appointed him as the interim chairman. And the allegation that Cyrus Mistry said that Ratan Tata was continuously interfering in the day-to-day business. He had de facto control. He told that this nano project ko chalana hi padega. He forced him to do the project, which was a dead project. Then NCLAT gave its favor in favor of the Mistry camp, and he became really happy, and they reinstated him as the Mistry as the executive chairman. So Cyrus Mistry won in NCLAT, but obviously Tata Sons appealed to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court stayed the order of appointing him as the chairperson, and now it is still that status quo was maintained. So we've done section 241. Now we are doing एक बार तुमने अप्लाई कर दिया, requisite लोगों ने अप्लाई कर दिया, फिर बाद में powers of NCLT. Let's see what are the powers of NCLT. Very, very important. It's actually given in your section 242 subsection 2. What all orders can NCLT give? पहली बात, ये orders कब देंगे? The tribunal may, with a view to bringing an end to the matters complained of, will make an order as it deems fit if it thinks of the opinion that the company's affairs are being conducted in a manner which is prejudicial or oppressive to any of the members, and to wind up the company would unfairly prejudice such members. So when they feel NCLT is satisfied that yes, there is operation mismanagement, then it will give orders in section 242 subsection 2. अब क्या क्या orders दे सकते हैं? They can regulate the affairs of the company in future. They can ask if some shares have been sold, they'll ask to purchase back. They will ask reduction of share capital. They'll stop from transfer of shares. They will set aside or terminate any of the contracts. Terminate any of the contract with the directors or with any other person. Okay, they can set aside any contract for delivering any goods, removal of the directors, recovery of any undue gains, appointment of such number of directors, imposition of cost. So all of this NCLT can pass an order. Whatever order it gives in subsection 3, this order copy will go to the ROC within 30 days. Next, even tribunal can also pass interim orders. Now this new part was added, section 242 subsection 4A. इसमें क्या बोला कि अगर after concluding tribunal has found out that a person is not fit when it was running in a mismanaged way, they must have found someone guilty. अगर वो लोग ने find out किया, at the conclusion of the hearing, the tribunal shall record and state specifically as to whether the respondent, जिसके ऊपर केस हुआ है इज अ फिट एंड प्रॉपर पर्सन टू होल्ड द ऑफिस ऑफ द डायरेक्टर और एनी ऑफ द ऑफिस. तो दिस इज अ शॉकर. अगर डायरेक्टर का पूरा नाम रेपुटेशन खराब हो सकता है, जजमेंट में आ जाएगा दैट ही वॉज नॉट फिट. अगर एक बार ऑर्डर पास आ गया, then any alteration will be done, has to be done with the consent of tribunal only, and it has to be done only in accordance with the NCLT order. So where any order has been passed, any alteration in the MOA and AOA, the company shall not have a power to do that except with the leave of court. That is, the leave means approval of court, permission of court, and any alteration whatsoever which is inconsistent with the order, okay, shall be void. जो भी ऑल्टर्ड कॉपी है वो वापस तुमको रजिस्ट्रार को देने पड़ेंगे विद इन 30 days, एंड इफ यू डोंट लिसन यू विल गेट अ पनिशमेंट. नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट सेक्शन. सो वी सॉ 242 that what all powers they have. They have a power to give interim orders, power to declare a person unfit, power to first satisfy itself that yes, there is something wrong going on. Now coming to section 243. 243 क्या है? एक बार कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टर्मिनेट कर दिया या कोई डायरेक्टर को निकाल दिया, तुमको लग रहा है उसको कॉम्पेंसेशन फॉर लॉस ऑफ ऑफिस मिलेगा या किसी को भी कोई रिलीफ मिलेगी? कैन दे मेक एनी क्लेम्स अगेंस्ट द कंपनी? सोचो, अगर कोई सप्लायर के साथ में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कैंसिल कर दिया, दे सेड कि ऑपरेशन मिसमैनेजमेंट है, इट वाज रॉन्गली डन, या कोई शेयर होल्डर के ऊपर केस कर दिया कि ये रॉन्गली अलॉटमेंट है, या डायरेक्टर को निकाल दिया वो रॉन्ग था, कैन एनी क्लेम बी देन बी फाइल्ड ऑन द कंपनी दैट अरे ये कैसे ऑर्डर पास किया? आंसर इज नो. सो वेयर एन ऑर्डर टर्मिनेट्स और सेट असाइड एनी अग्रीमेंट, तो NCLT का ऑर्डर है कि कैंसिल करो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, then such contract shall not, that such order shall not give rise to any claims, and no managing director or any of the director whose office has been terminated shall get compensation for loss of office and shall for a period of 5 years be appointed as a director of the company. तो उसका जॉब भी चला गया, 5 years तक बैन from being in the company. और जिसको अनफिट भी डिक्लेयर कर दिया था इन सेक्शन 242 सबसेक्शन 4A शैल नॉट होल्ड द ऑफिस फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ 5 years. देन कम सेक्शन 243(1)(b दैट दे शैल, जो भी डायरेक्टर्स निकल गए उनको कॉम्पेंसेशन ऑफ लॉस ऑफ ऑफिस नहीं मिलेगा. सेक्शन 243 सबसेक्शन 2, अगर कॉन्ट्रवेंशन है तो यू विल बी पनिश्ड. Now coming to simple, so we finished with operation mismanagement. We are talking now about transfer and transmission. So let's see. When I say transfer transmission means what? There is section talking about section. कौन सा है ट्रांसफर का सेक्शन? you know, it's your section 56 talks about transfer and transmission. अब उसके अंदर देर इज सबसेक्शन 1, सबसेक्शन 2, 3, ओके, 4, 5, सो ऑन. देखते हैं. नाउ सबसेक्शन 1 टॉक्स अबाउट ट्रांसफर एंड सबसेक्शन 2 टॉक्स अबाउट ट्रांसमिशन. Subsection 3 talks about transfer of partly paid shares. Transfer of partly paid shares. Subsection 4 talks about the timelines for delivery of certificates. So this is the time limits to issue the share certificate. Subsection 5, not that important, a transfer of shares of a deceased person. So transfer of shares of deceased person. And subsection 6 talks about punishments. ठीक है, very simple. Let's understand. Subsection 1 क्या बोल रहा है? मुझे बोलो कि what do you mean by the term transfer of shares? What do you mean by transfer? So transfer means change in ownership in shares. तब हम लोग बोल सकते शेयर्स ट्रांसफर हो गए. अब सोचो, फिजिकल मोड की बात कर रहा हूं मैं. दिस A wants to transfer his shares to B. कॉमन एक्ट होता होगा, A wants to transfer his shares to B. तो व्हाट इज द रिक्वायरमेंट? एक ट्रांसफर डीड उसको एंटर करना पड़ेगा. ट्रांसफर डीड जैसे कैसे सेल डीड होता है, सेल डीड में लिखा रहता है कि इतना कंसिडरेशन मिलेगा, इतना ये चीज़ मिलेगी तुमको, वो सब लिखा होगा. वैसे ही ट्रांसफर डीड एंटर करना पड़ेगा. दिस ट्रांसफर डीड इज इन अ स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म दैट इज SH4. अब दिस हैज टू बी साइंड, it has to be executed, that is signed, executed, it has to be dated, okay, and it has to be stamped. उसके ऊपर requisite stamp duty आ जानी चाहिए. and delivered to the company. एक बार ये transfer deed बन गया, then you will deliver it to the company. कंपनी को डिलीवर कर देने का within how many days? within 60 days of execution. So ये कहाँ पे दिया है? सेक्शन 56 सबसेक्शन 1. ठीक है. So a company shall not register or transfer of securities of the company unless a proper instrument of transfer which is duly stamped, dated, executed by both the parties and has been delivered to the company within period of 60 days from the date of execution of the company. Okay. Now coming to transmission. What do you mean by transmission? That if a person has died, then his legal heirs will apply. So the company has the power to register a intimation of transmission also on operation of law. What do you mean by transmission? It is a transfer by operation of law. Operation of law. ठीक है. So if there is a death, insolvency, any kind of lunacy, then the required persons will apply कि ये person apply नहीं कर सकता, तो मैं apply कर रहा हूँ for my shares. For example, transfer is voluntarily, whereas transmission is involuntarily. It is asked by law to do it. Like a dead person cannot hold shares, so they will say please give it to the legal representative or legal heirs. Then comes subsection 3 talking about partly paid shares. Can partly paid shares be transferred? अभी मैं बोलूँगा कि आंसर इज येस, पार्टली पेड शेयर्स कैन बी ट्रांसफर्ड. अगर कंपनी ने अभी तक पैसे कॉल्स किए ही नहीं है तो मैं क्यों जाके भरूँगा? इन बिटवीन ओनली आई हैव वांट टू सेल ऑफ माय स्टेक. सो कैन पार्टली पेड शेयर्स बी ट्रांसफर्ड? आंसर इज येस. किसको रिस्क होगा? ट्रांसफरर को रिस्क होता है कि ट्रांसफरी को? ट्रांसफरर को रिस्क होगा या ट्रांसफरी? सेलर को रिस्क है कि बायर को रिस्क है कि शेयर्स पे अभी तक पैसा बाकी है? सो इट इज अ ट्रांसफरी हु इज एट रिस्क. सो व्हाट हैपेंस? कंपनी गिव्स अ इंटीमेशन टू द ट्रांसफरी इन SH5 दैट बॉस दीज शेयर्स आर पार्टली पेड. चलेगा तुझे? जब ये ट्रांसफरी बायर एक NOC देगा, हाँ मुझे पता है कि पार्टली पेड शेयर्स है, आई स्टिल वांट टू गो अहेड एंड परचेज इट, देन ओनली कंपनी विल register the transfer. So let's see. Where an application has been received by the transferor which relates to partly paid shares, the transfer shall not be registered unless the company gives a notice in SH5 to whom? To the transferee, and the transferee gives a NOC within 2 weeks of the receipt of the notice. टाइम लिमिट फॉर इशू ऑफ शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स, एक बार अप्लाई कर दिया तो शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स इशू हो जाना चाहिए. सो section 56 subsection 4 gives the time limits. Let's see what are the time limits. Very simple. अगर मैंने आज सब्सक्राइब किया MOA को तो कितने टाइम में मुझे शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स मिल जाने चाहिए? विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 2 months. या मैंने आज FPO में या IPO में अप्लाई किया, तो आज अगर अप्लाई किया तो कितने टाइम, अगर अलॉट हो गए मुझे, तो कितने टाइम में शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स होंगे? विद इन 2 months फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ अलॉटमेंट द शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स विल बी इशूड. ट्रांसफर ट्रांसमिशन, मैंने ट्रांसफर के लिए अप्लाई कर दिया, कितने टाइम में ट्रांसफर हो जाएगा और शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स इशू हो जाएंगे इन द न्यू नेम? विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 1 month फ्रॉम द रिसीप्ट ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ ट्रांसफर और ट्रांसमिशन. एंड लास्ट में इफ इट इज रिलेटेड टू अलॉटमेंट ऑफ डिबेंचर्स देन विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 6 months इट विल बी इशूड. सो योर यहाँ पे शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स या डिबेंचर सर्टिफिकेट्स इशू हो जाएंगे. सो यू टेल मी, इफ टुडे आई बाय द शेयर्स इन IPO एंड शेयर्स आज मुझे अलॉट हो गए, तो कितने टाइम में मेरे को शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स आ जाएंगे? विद इन 2 months. अगर मैंने सब्सक्राइब किया हो MOA को तो कितने टाइम में शेयर सर्टिफिकेट्स मिल जाएंगे मुझे? दिस. इफ इट्स रिलेटेड टू डिबेंचर्स देन 6 months, and if it's related to transfer or transmission then 1 month. Then subsection 5, not that important. Transfer of shares of a deceased person will be done by the legal representative will apply. Transmission में section 72 में क्या बोल रहे हैं? That you can even nominee, you can apply a nominee. Nominee is a person who the shares will vest after your death. Then comes punishment for default is in section 56 subsection 6. Now, so we did our section 56 हो गया. Now coming to section 57. Now section 57 talks about impersonation of a shareholder. Personation of a shareholder मतलब क्या? Punishment for personation. Now imagine I go that I am Amitabh Bachchan, okay, and I talk in his tone, and I say that I am Amitabh Bachchan, please issue me the shares or transfer the shares. I try to personate, try to become that person. So जो twin brothers है या किसी की साइन फॉर्ज करके मैं डिसीटफुली किसी के पास से कोई पावर ऑफ अटर्नी ले लेता हूँ या अटेम्प्ट करता हूँ कि मैं ही वो पर्सन हूँ और सेल कर देता हूँ. अटेम्प्ट टू सेल और ऑब्टेन एनी सिक्योरिटी और आई ट्राई टू रिसीव एनी मनी, देन आई विल गेट अ जेल ऑफ not less than 1 year but which may extend up till 3 years. So you cannot just impersonate or try to become and try to take the money or the shares. Now coming to refusal of register of shares and appeal thereof. So after section 57 we are talking of section 58. That is about what? Refusal to register transfer एंड अपील देयर ऑफ. किसके पास करने का अपील? NCLT. सोचो तुम और मैं ट्रांसफर और वो ट्रांसफरी, हम लोग ने ट्रांसफर डीड दिया कंपनी को कि प्लीज रजिस्टर आर ट्रांसफर. कंपनी ने नहीं करने का, जाओ कल आना. से वो नॉनसेंस. वी गो अगेन, जैसे नहीं करने का हमको ट्रांसफर, दे आर नॉट रेडी टू डू द ट्रांसफर. सो वेयर विल यू गो? यू विल गो एंड अपील टू NCLT and NCLT will say what nonsense. It will give an order within 10 days. You have to comply with the order of NCLT. But before going to NCLT, they have given certain timeline. I have to apply to the company. They have given certain time limits. Let's see. The transfer and transmission, you have to apply to the company. The company shall within 30 days send a notice to the person refusing, giving the reasons for refusal. सोचो अगर कंपनी है और ये पार्टीज है, ये पार्टीज ने अप्लाई किया है, दे हैव अप्लाइड टू कंपनी, अप्लाइड फॉर ट्रांसफर, एंड कंपनी कैन रिफ्यूज इट. दे कैन रिफ्यूज इट but they will also give reasons, and ये reasons कितने दिन में देने हैं? within 30 days. So now then these two parties will have to decide their course of action. ये लोग को डिसाइड करना पड़ेगा. अभी हमको NCLT के पास में जाना पड़ेगा, ये कंपनी सुनने वाली नहीं है. So firstly पब्लिक कंपनी के शेयर्स फ्रीली ट्रांसफरेबल होते हैं, हम लोग जानते हैं. नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू अपील. ट्राइब्यूनल के पास में अपील में जाने का. अब अपील के प्रोविजन देखो, ये वाला प्राइवेट कंपनी के लिए है और ये वाले डेज दिए हैं ये लोग पब्लिक कंपनी के लिए. सो इफ कंपनी ने नोटिस दिया है प्राइवेट कंपनी रिलेटेड, इफ वी हैव गिवन यू अ नोटिस दैट व्हाई वी आर रिफ्यूजिंग, देन विद इन 30 days of the notice you have to go to NCLT. So if today you all had applied and I as a company secretary of the company refused it, I gave a letter to you. So within the next 30 days of receiving the notice, you will go to NCLT. But what if I didn't even care or bother to reply to you or give a letter that I'm refusing your shares? Then if no notice of refusal was received, then within 60 days of your delivering the instrument of transfer, तो तुम लोग ने अप्लाई किए होंगे, 60 days हो गए, अभी तक कोई रिस्पॉन्स ही नहीं आया कंपनी से. So then you can go in appeal to NCLT. सेम थिंग इफ इट वॉज अ पब्लिक कंपनी, देन अगर नोटिस रिसीव हुआ है कि क्यों, तो देन 60 days में जाओगे. अगर नोटिस ही नहीं मिला है तो फिर तुम कितने टाइम में जाओगे? विद इन 90 days. सो ये 30 विल बिकम 60 एंड ये 60 विल बिकम 90 इफ इट इज अ पब्लिक कंपनी. ये टाइमलाइन जो है ये प्राइवेट कंपनी के लिए और ये पब्लिक कंपनी के लिए. कैन रीड इट वंस. देन द पावर ऑफ द ट्राइब्यूनल. ट्राइब्यूनल से what nonsense, transfer, register the transfer, and the company will have to implement the order within a period of 10 days. Then comes the next section, that is your section 59. Very simple, easy section. Rectification of register of members. Now when you will apply for rectification, either your name has been added or removed, or there is a unreasonable delay to enter the name in the register of members. तुम्हारा नाम ही नहीं ऐड कर रहा हूँ मैं. So from the register of members, so it has been added, तुमने शेयर्स बाई नहीं किया, तुम्हारे रजिस्टर ऑफ मेंबर में ऐड कर दिया, या तुमने शेयर्स थे नाम निकाल दिए, या तुम्हारा ऐड ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो ऐसे सब केस में तुम किधर जाओगे? एक ही अपना है NCLT के पास में जाओगे एंड यू गो फॉर रेक्टिफिकेशन ऑफ रजिस्टर ऑफ मेंबर्स अंडर सेक्शन 59. सो इफ द नेम ऑफ अ पर्सन विदाउट सफिशिएंट कॉज हैज बीन एंटर्ड और हैज बीन omitted from, or there is an unreasonable delay in entering in the register of members, then the person aggrieved may apply to the tribunal. Right of appeal, कौन कौन जा सकता है? May the appeal may be done by the member or any person aggrieved or the company itself. They can go कि यार हमको ये rectify करना है register. Where a petition can be filed by an aggrieved person or the company or a member, so long as he establishes that his name has been entered or omitted from the register of members without sufficient cause. So yes, he can go. Meaning of sufficient cause, so just generally saying there is a adequate reason, there is enough reason, as much as necessary that is there, everything is there. Okay. The power to refuse is a discretionary power. The directors must exercise this power in good faith, and the court can control their discretion if they are capriciously or in bad faith. Can board refuse register of transfer? Can the board of directors refuse register to transfer your shares? Yes or no? Answer is yes. They can refuse. These are discretionary powers, but it should be done in good faith. For example, your shares पे there was a lien, तुमने गिरवी रखे थे, तो रोक सकते हैं ना. या तुम माइनर को ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो, माइनर टू माइनर पार्टली पेड शेयर्स, then they can refuse. Or if there is a dispute, again they can refuse. All of this should be done in good faith. But if it is done in bad faith, then obviously courts can control the discretion. In Asha Purendi versus Integrated Controls, whether minor typographical omission is sufficient to cause for refusal to register, answer is no. So जो तुम्हारा नाम जुबैर था और there was एक place पे जुबैर लिखा था, so there was a typographical omission, okay, could be a ground for refusal of the name. So answer is no. But if it is a massive difference, then it will not be allowed. Okay, as long as it was sufficient that it was just a mere typographical and the person is not changing. Power of the tribunal, again same days, 10 दिन के अंदर order देंगे, you will have to listen. Then lastly, punishment for wrongful withholding of the property under section 452. If any of the director is wrongfully withholding any property includes money of the company, then there will be a punishment. The court can ask कि जो भी तेरे पास प्रॉपर्टी पैसा है कंपनी का प्लीज रिटर्न कर दे. कंपनी की गाड़ी लेके छोड़ रहा नहीं है, कंपनी का लैपटॉप दे रहा नहीं है, कंपनी के पैसे तेरे पास में है, यू आर नॉट गिविंग, एंड यू देयर कैन बी अ पनिशमेंट ऑल्सो. सो इफ एनी ऑफ द ऑफिसर ऑफ द एम्प्लॉई wrongfully obtains any property including cash or having any such property including cash wrongfully withholds and applies it for his benefit also, then there will be a fine, and the court trying the offense can also ask this officer to deliver the said property back to the company. And that is it, we are done with the chapter.